What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm finally breaking my silence on Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I had a lot of mixed feelings about this film, and as you can tell, the critics and the audiences are conflicting as usual. And I tell you what, the critics, they are eating this movie up, but the majority of the audience members who have seen this film are giving it a bad rating, and to them, this is a big, fat dud. And I gotta tell you, as a fan member of the Star Wars series, I side with the audience members on this decision. And I'm going to tell you why, outlining my different feelings on this film, what worked, what didn't, and what really rubbed me the wrong damn way. And mind you, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, you've been warned. So this film takes place just after the events of Episode 7. The Resistance is on the run from the First Order, who is finding them and able to track them through hyperspace somehow. And then also we see Rey learning the ways of the Force, or trying to, by a totally damaged Luke Skywalker, who has been, exiled himself and has been just alone for God knows how long, ever since the events that were alluded to in the first film occurred, where his Jedi Temple was basically destroyed by Kylo Ren and his knights. So throughout the film, we're getting all the characters back. They're in their comfort zone. They're in their motion. Where I'm liking what we're seeing for all the characters. Even Luke Skywalker at the beginning. He's a broken man, and you can understand where he's coming from at all aspects. Going into this film, I didn't have any solid expectations. I was just very eager to see what they were going to do with the story. The trailers looked great, and the story, the visuals and everything had been so well done in the last film. Now, I knew that it was a different writer and everything, but, I would have thought that the consistency factor would have been there, even if you're handing it off to somebody else. But I tell you what, a lot of this film, I had my jaw dropped in awe. It was really awesome, from different things that you're talking about visually, whether it was the way that the dogfights were or the way that the fighting was between the two, Resistance and the First Order in space. Great visuals. Or the fact that new Force abilities were shown in characters you wouldn't have expected. Especially Leia, when she ended up getting the Force used in a scene where she was actually sent into space from a blast that occurred on the ship. She was sucked out, and then she actually pulls herself back in. I thought that was fantastic. With Carrie Fisher being gone and the fact that they didn't kill her off in this film, I really feel like it's going to be very tough to kind of recast or work with the character in the next film. So that right there definitely tugged on your heartstrings a little bit. Some of the useless stuff that I found to be in this film really stemmed from the little plot point of the film where Finn and the new character Rose, whom he meets, actually go to this different city in order to try and dispel or find a way to stop the First Order from tracking the Resistance. And that whole plot point right there, not terrible, could have been nixed. I was actually expecting not an animal race, but a pod race. I thought that they were going to tie it back to the original films, which was funny enough. But again, nothing like that was terrible. We saw Kylo Ren communicating with Rey at different points in the film, which it was revealed that Snoke was actually using his Force influence to actually connect their minds and whatnot, which was incredible, because it's even to the point where it was alluded to almost that there was some type of transfer of physical matter through the Force and whatnot, and especially with the scene where Rey was actually on the waterfront getting splashed with water, and then at the end of their conversation, Kylo Ren wipes his face, and it could have been sweat, but I'm thinking what they were trying to say is that it was water that was going through. Like I said, Luke, the way he was depicted for the majority of the film, I totally bought into. He was actually very damaged and whatnot, and you can understand why. His nephew turned to the freaking dark side despite him trying to train him in the ways of the light, the Jedi, and the Force. The line that he says in the trailer, "It's time for the Jedi to end," actually appears in the film, and he believes it. He 100% believes it. He doesn't think that the Jedi have any worth anymore, and that the hubris of the Jedi, caused the downfall of the light side and everything. He's kind of in the middle for the majority of this film. He says the light dispels the dark when everything gets too powerful, another thing comes into existence to kind of balance it out. You feel like he's a gray Jedi, and for a point in the film, you actually feel like Luke must have lost his mind and could have been a villain. With that right there, I was so stressed and worried that he was going to be a bad guy, but at the same time, it would have been a crazy plot device, and I was kind of wondering if they would have gone that direction. If anything, he was worse off than Obi-Wan had been. Everyone keeps making the comparison that he was like Obi-Wan in A New Hope. No. Obi-Wan had it easy compared to Luke. Luke got put through the ringer 10 billion times over, having to fight his father, having to lose his nephew to the dark side. He's been through some shit, especially with him losing his best friend in his absence as well. So now we're going to get into the part where I really didn't like certain aspects that really delved into my problems with the film. And there aren't very many, and of all of them, I really had a big problem with one, which I'll get to at the end. But like I mentioned before, the casino scene brought the film down. The pacing was kind of thrown off because of it. Very unnecessary. Didn't need it. Finn and Rose, cool couple, didn't really need that at the end. The random kids in that scene also played into a little bit because I feel like those are probably going to be who Rian Johnson focuses his new trilogy on, which, by the way, I don't give a shit about. Rian Johnson, take a trilogy, shut up your ass. There was a revelation in there that Rey's parents were nobody, that they were drunks on Jakku who sold her for money. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, and I can buy into that, and I believe that if that's the truth, and I stand by it. The Force picks who it picks. You don't have to be anyone of major opulence or significance. You can be someone who's impoverished, but if the Force chooses you, it's your destiny to rise to the occasion. And I thought that that was a very cool plot point, even though I would have preferred that Luke be her father, or even Leia and Han be her father, and she's the long-lost twin to Kylo Ren. That would have been awesome too. The next big wasted plot point to me was them killing off Supreme Leader Snoke. I mean, the way they did it, it was very cool, and you know what? I watched it at first and I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do for the rest of this movie? How are they going to make this work? Especially if he's not going to be in the next one. But you know what, guys? I didn't mind that again because you know what? It was totally unexpected. It flipped it on its head. What's going to happen now? Oh wait, Kylo's the Supreme Leader now. He's actually stepping into that role and growing some freaking balls now that he has no opposition because Rey kind of helped him in a sweet, badass fight scene between him, her, and the Supreme Leader's guards. Oh my god, that was some awesome stuff, and we could have used more of that in this film. So yeah, guys, Snoke's dead. Rey's parents are nobody. All the stuff's going on, and I'm still rolling with it. We come to the end, the biggest part of the film. This whole entire film, Luke's been going through a lot of emotional changes, and it should be focusing on Luke's arc, you know? So we get to the end after awesome cameos by, you know, Yoda himself being in the film and actually being a Force ghost and helping Luke kind of disconnect and let go of his past and move forward and everything. The fact that that happened was really awesome, and it was kind of building up to an arc of Luke redeeming himself, if you will. The Resistance is at their last leg. They have to go onto this planet with an old rebellion base, and they have to kind of have a final stand between them and the First Order, or what's left of it, especially after the new character, Laura Dern's character, decides to sacrifice herself to actually destroy and take out half of the First Order fleet, which was amazing imagery. Oh my goodness, it looked so beautiful. It was almost like a comic book panel come to life, or a noir film, and it looked so good. So we get on that planet, and then all hope seems lost. But Rey is coming down on the planet. She's trying to save as many as she can. And then we have Luke finally coming out of his exile, coming to his family, coming to Leia, coming to the people, showing up, the legend himself. And you feel this sense of great awesomeness about to swell up and going to happen. After talking with Leia and whatnot, and saying his hellos to everybody, even to C-3PO doing one of these, he goes outside as the First Order's got their fleet of AT walkers, monstrosities, ready to blast the shit out of the base. He comes out, and then they send 1,000,000 blaster bolts his way. Oh my god, you think he's going to get wiped out, or he's going to hold all of them off. The smoke clears. What does he do? Badass Luke Skywalker, right? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's pretty badass. It's pretty cool, right? Kylo Ren gets out. They both take out lightsabers. Luke has a blue lightsaber. Oh my god, we're going to get an awesome fight scene. As this is going on, the Resistance is escaping. We cut back, and we see Luke dodging some slashes here and there. Okay, I can work with that. Then all of a sudden, we kind of have a mirror of A New Hope. If you strike me down, I shall be with you, just like your father. He's taking a little poke right at Kylo Ren because he knows his father is haunting him. Kylo swipes at him and it goes right through him. We think he's going to get killed or dissipate. Luke turns around and it's a trick. See you around, kid. That's what he says. And then all of a sudden we cut back to the planet that Luke was exiled on, and he's there floating and meditating. And at that point, the Force hologram dissipates and Luke drops because he's used all of his powers, and he's looking off into the sunset. And actually it's a twin sunset. He dies the way that he came into this world as we knew him, looking at twin sunsets, yearning, peaceful. And then, just like Yoda, Master Yoda in Return of the Jedi, he fades away. And that's how he dies. The Resistance gets away, film ends, and that is where I had my biggest what the fuck moment. Mind you, the film isn't bad, it's a good film, it's a decent film, but I am the biggest Luke Skywalker fan. I love Luke to death. I cosplayed as Return of the Jedi Luke, going to Rhode Island Comic Con in 2016. I had the suit made special custom. I got a saber forged blade to look like the Return of the Jedi Luke lightsaber, because that's my favorite Luke Skywalker. And that Luke is the Luke that I will always remember and always want. To not have him show some type of fortitude and actually be there when you planted seeds for him to show is unforgivable. He had his drowned X-Wing in the rivers, in the ocean, that was seen by Rey on the planet for him to utilize and go. If he had actually gone to the planet where they were held up, he could have used his power, his immense powers, which he must have because it's alluded in the film that by doing something like this you could kill yourself if you didn't have enough power, which he did, and he totally did, and he kills himself by doing this hologram bullshit. He could have done so much more damage and actually had a hero's ending and actually hurt Kylo Ren, maybe taken one of his goddamn hands, and you give him this type of ending? Are you serious? What the hell did you do, Rian Johnson? And for that reason, this film, all the good that this film accomplished, half of it is wiped away. Before that end scene was revealed and the whole trick was revealed that it was a hologram or an astral projection, this film was going to get a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10 from me. But it couldn't deliver on half of the shit that it had promised. And that's why I am pissed off as a fan of Star Wars. This film is a good film and you should go and see it, but this film is garbage because it shit on everything that we've known about from specific characters. And of course, I'm only speaking about Luke here because he is the most important figure in all of the films. Luke was never that cocky when he was fighting people. He might have rushed into things, he might have not thought things through, but he was never ever cocky. And that avatar that we got was a douche straight up. I'll see you around, kid. I was waiting for fucking sunglasses and a hat that said Thug Life come down like a bad meme. Oh, this movie wasn't for you. Kill the past. You were such a fanboy. That's a lame-ass excuse, okay, bro? And you know what? Star Wars was for the fans. Star Wars was for the people who appreciated this. J.J. Abrams, he brought this thing back into full swing. He had so many things that you could have gone with. He set you up for an easy freaking layup, and you fucked it up. The fact of the matter is, they messed up one of the greatest endings that could have been for one specific character who was the most significant and important in the entire series. I'm sorry, but Star Wars has always been about the Skywalkers. And honestly, if it's not about the Skywalkers, there's no freaking point. I don't care about Snoke, I don't care about Phasma, I don't care about any of these whack-ass characters that you decided to throw in there. I don't care about any of them as much as I care about the ones that were established in the original film. Oh, but this is a great movie, just not a good Star Wars movie. Then what's the freaking point? What's the point if it's not a good Star Wars movie? It's Star Wars. That's the gist of why I am disappointed in this film. Because of that, the film, 5.5, 6 out of 10. That's it. Garbage. I stand by the fact that I will still buy the DVD and everything. I will still support this series because I love it. But that right there, one of the worst things writers ever did in this new series. And those are my thoughts on The Last Jedi. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.